station that's on your side. This is News 12, first at 5.
Scattered showers across the area this evening, and we're also watching for rain later in the week. We'll have your first alert forecast for you in just a few minutes. But first, Central EMS is settling into its new role in Augusta after Gold Cross suddenly pulled their services at the start of the month. Central EMS was given just a 12-hour heads up. They would be responsible for the entire Augusta-Richmond County area. When Gold Cross left, their 911 dispatch system went right along with them. So you might be surprised to find out in Richmond County, operators are using physical booklets to provide medical care over the phone instead of computers.
Yeah, and while the city works to upgrade those systems, first responders want you to know that it does the job. Our Craig Allison is live at 5 with more on how dispatchers are working to be ready to answer when you call.
Well, since Gold Cross is no longer handling emergency calls, communication officers here at the 911 center have been taking over that responsibility using these to get the job done, a system they've been hard at work at since April 2nd. And while it may sound concerning to hear they're using these flipbooks to respond to medical emergencies, it's actually a part of their initial training. The director says the flipbooks are filled with new information, with their last update being back in 2020. The state requires a week of training on this, and here in Augusta, there's an extra 6 months to a year of training. Officers say while the flipbooks are typically a backup system, right now they're helping save lives.
When I had a breathing call this morning in regards to a person having trouble breathing. I then went to the appropriate flip chart card, asked them the specific questions, and was able to get them the assistance that they needed based on what they said. I stayed on the line until the ambulance service arrived.
And all new on News 12 at 6 o'clock, we'll give you a better look at how the 911 center is operating right now and how they hope to replace these to make more progress moving forward.
Thanks, Craig. Certainly looks more like a binder this morning. We were talking about a flip book, and we were trying to figure out exactly what all that meant and what it looked like, but it's certainly interesting to see what they deal with and how they read that as well.
Yeah, it gives a lot more perspective when we actually get to see it and then have a dispatcher tell us how it was put to use just today.
Absolutely, but shifting gears to weather now, taking a live look outside over Wheeler Road.
Chances for you in just about 10 minutes.
All right, thanks for that, Riley. Fighting fentanyl one step at a time. You might have seen this already. It's a new billboard in Augusta's medical district. It's raising awareness on the lives lost to fentanyl and the dangers of the drug. Today, families and friends met for the One Pill Can Kill rally. Coming up ahead on News 12 at 6 o'clock, we hear from a family who knows a face and knows the pain behind that smile on the billboard. A place meant for anybody to borrow or gift a free book, vandalized. The library is located in the subdivision of Country Place in Evans, and authorities say it was vandalized sometime between Saturday afternoon and Monday morning. If you have any information on who might have done this, contact the Columbia County Sheriff's Office.
A push to give South Carolina families public dollars to send their kids to private schools could be on the governor's desk soon. The House of Representatives is debating a voucher bill right now, and it's already passed in the Senate.
Our State House reporter Mary Green has the details on the $90 million bill.
This bill fell short of becoming law last year over a disagreement on testing requirements. Now the clock is ticking for lawmakers to get it to the governor's desk before the legislative session ends here in 3 weeks. The bill would give up to 15,000 students a year $6,000 in state money in an education scholarship account to pay for private school tuition and other allowable costs. At full implementation, a family of 4 making up to around $120,000 a year would be eligible. Students receiving this money would be required to take a state or national standardized test to measure how well the program is working. The bill would prohibit schools receiving this money from discriminating based on race, color, or national origin. But the Republican majority voted down pushes to ban discrimination based on sex and disability. Democrats Democrats' amendments to require these schools provide food and transportation to voucher students also fell short.
There are 4 reasons I'm against this bill, and more generally, the idea of public money going to private and religious schools in a K through 12 setting. 1, it's unconstitutional. 2, it's ineffective. 3, practically it will do nothing. And 4, it takes the precious seconds we have on this floor from doing something meaningful in the public K through 12 arena.
They're trying to kill choice in education. There is a party that actively opposes parents and children having choice in their education.
House members are still debating this bill after starting earlier this afternoon. Reporting from the State House, I'm Mary Green.
If House members pass the same version of this bill the Senate did without making any changes, it'll head to the governor's desk.
A $2 million lawsuit could be on the horizon against UGA and the Georgia Board of Regents. This following a deadly crash in January that killed Devin Willock and recruiting analyst Chandler LaCroix hours after the national championship celebration in Athens. UGA claims that the fault lies with the driver, 24-year-old Chandler LaCroix, who also died in that crash. But the Willock's lawyer claims that LaCroix was served alcohol at the UGA Athletics Association events while that she was on duty and she was supposed to be driving recruits and families around Athens.
Recruiter could possibly be an employee or an agent, and those distinctions matter because that will determine the level of liability for the university.
A toxicology report last month found her blood alcohol concentration was 0.197 at the time of the crash, more than double the legal limit. UGA says LaCroix used the car that crashed without permission since she wasn't working with the athletic department at the time. Employees with autism learning and thriving at a t-shirt shop. How this is preparing them for what comes next. Riley?
And we have been tracking some rain so far today, and that's going to stay in the forecast over the next few days. We'll have a look at the forecast just after the break.
Time and temp.
All right, thank you, Riley. An Atlanta school taking a bold step to help its students on the autism spectrum create successful, happy lives after high school.
Sawyer Butsy shows us how sometimes the best classroom is actually a job.
Start with the basics, right? Small, medium, large, extra large, that there's an order to things.
At Big Frog of Dunwoody, tasks like folding t-shirts,
2, 3.
and prepping clothes, cleaning windows, become avenues to opportunity.
And really what they are doing is getting work experience to be able to get a job and be successful.
We've taught them how to treat shirts for printing. We've taught them how to do heat press work.
I know you're hearing a story about t-shirts, but it's deeper than that. These are students from Cumberland Academy of Georgia in Atlanta, a school created for kids with autism, Asperger's, ADHD, learning differences.
Our kids, we can't keep in a bubble. We have to be able to get them ready for what's next. Last year, 100% of our kids were accepted in college and driving.
Working at Big Frog of Dunwoody is part of the career prep program for high schoolers.
1, 2, 3, 4.
They will spend half the day in class, half the day in the community, learning how to work in busy public spaces.
Because of this gig, we ended up over across the street at CrossFit.
This job isn't just for the students, it's for the community. To see someone different, to respond the same.
And they don't always have a voice to be able to advocate for themselves, or people are scared of people that are different.
Students have been working with Tracy for years now. The more community organizations join, the more types of work students get to experience.
It's really become like a mission in my life to figure out how to educate them, and everyone is so different, and I think that's what's cool.
And you've got to find that strength, and then you have to go towards that. Gosh, how great is that?
That's pretty awesome too, and it's just celebrating their differences too. I also thought it was really cool because it's helping them learn social skills too and how to operate in that public space. So it's pretty cool. You don't see that very often nowadays.
No, it's embracing them rather than, again, keeping them in a bubble,
Yeah,
like their
and-
teacher said. That's not the best way.
Giving them an opportunity to learn how they need to learn and how they best learn
Yeah.
as well. This is
Good
pretty cool.
job. Hopefully that idea spreads.
Absolutely. It's pretty cool. But what happens if police enter your home without a warrant? Just ahead, when Live at 5 continues, we'll explain your rights and what to do if this ever happens to you.
First alert. Spring is here. It's time to.
Well, can the police hold you at gunpoint in your own home without a warrant? That's the question that two renters are asking after police mistakenly raided their apartment in the middle of the night and took them into custody.
Our national investigative reporter, Brendan Keefe, looks at one case in Georgia and discovered some of the officers worked for the apartment complex while off duty.
Roswell Police, if you're inside, make yourself known now.
No knock.
Roswell Police, come to the sound of my voice. Is your door closed? So not.
No warrant.
Hey man, come. Show me your hands. Show me your hands. Manos arriba.
Were you afraid? ¿Tuviste miedo?
Sí, tuve miedo.
Yes, I was afraid. I was scared.
Aquí. Aquí ahora.
Officers forced Mario Melgad from his apartment at gunpoint and took him into custody.
Get him out of the way.
¿Por qué? ¿Por qué? Why? Why?
Pues no sé por qué.
Well, I don't know because they put the handcuffs on me for nothing.
7 minutes, 1 to 10.
Someone was it? It's supposed to be
It's
vacant.
not supposed to be vacant.
Okay.
The officers with a specialized unit were looking for squatters in vacant apartments in June of last year. A broken window attracted their attention.
This is 100% supposed to be vacant. About 9% sure.
The armed entry team had their doubts from the beginning.
Looks pretty furnished.
Hold it, I can go confirm. You go confirm before we go further into this.
Detective Charles Craig checked the rent roll again and again.
Bunch of squatters, but I don't think this is going to be related.
That apartment was listed as occupied and fully paid up on rent.
Do you live here? Yeah. You live here? Yeah. Show vacant.
Even after Detective Craig checked the list, Mario and his roommate Marco were detained as suspects. Pero tienes derechos. You have rights.
Exactamente.
Exactly.
The rent roll that you're referring to, the document that you were checking for vacancies on, where did you receive that document from?
I got it from the property manager.
Both Detective Craig and the officer with the ballistic shield and gun just inside the apartment received paychecks from the city and from the apartments. Did you know Officer Craig worked for this apartment complex as an extra job?
No.
When a private business hires an off-duty police officer, they get more than just the person. They get the police uniform, the officer's badge, the officer's gun, their arrest powers, and in some cases, armed duty loyalty to their off-duty employer.
I f***ed up. I read the list wrong. It wasn't their list that was wrong. I read it wrong.
We don't know how much money the apartments paid any of the officers because the Roswell Police Department doesn't track off-duty hours or pay.
How long after that time when you realized this apartment wasn't on the list of vacant apartments did you finally release the person who was in handcuffs?
Too long? 10, 15 minutes.
And during that 10 to 15 minutes, if you had to estimate, how many more times do you think you lied to try to save face during the interaction with the officers and the person who was handcuffed?
Multitude on the same thing to try to save face and try to make it go away.
I don't understand. They're supposed to be here.
Yeah, they're good. They live here.
Mario and Marco were released with an apology.
When we determined the officer lied, he was told that he was going to be terminated and he quit before he was fired.
What would you like to see changed?
I would like them to be more careful
Ten cuidado.
Show me your hands.
so that type of things don't happen again.
Get him out of the way.
All right, well, we are tracking some showers and thunderstorms on Doppler Max, mainly in the southern CS area. These should stay away from Augusta for the rest of the evening. Have an update again just after a quick break.